Welcome back to another episode of Lucid Daily, the number one spot for Lucid news and information on a daily basis. And today we do have a handful of things that we need to get through, so let's go ahead and get started. Very first off, Lucid was down 6% today. They were up a little over 0.5% in the after hours. It's okay. A lot of the EV sector took a hit today. Tesla was down 3.6% and up 1.7% in the after hours. Rivian down nearly 6% and up 1% in the after hours. GGPI, which is getting close to its merger, hopefully, was down 3% and up 1/3% in the afternoon. So now that we have a little bit more information, or at least that I've learned a little bit more about why PeterRawlinson sold his shares, I thought I was educated enough in this that we can go ahead and talk about it. So on Monday, the CEO and CTO, PeterRawlinson, had sold about 8 million shares worth of Lucid. That's about $180 million. That's a ton of money. But he isn't selling because of any change in his views or about the company's prospects. The share sale was planned almost 8 months ago in July of 2021. So all those Twitter warriors that were kind of going after Lucid, like, oh, they're CEOs, he's selling out of the company, he doesn't believe in it. Yeah, you didn't read it carefully enough. So we have to read into the details before we freak out. And as you can see here, this was all part of his RSU, which restricted stock unit compensation that he was awarded in March of 2021. So again, this was all premeditated. This wasn't a surprise. People knew this was going to happen. I wish we had a little bit more heads up, but I think this stock would have tanked if people had realized. So nonetheless, it's all right. It's part of $180 million. That's a ton. In terms of their tax bill, of his tax bill. I wonder, that's an insane amount of taxes he has to pay. All right, so Bear's Workshop was able to go to a flyover today, and I didn't see an exact car count, but we're kind of past that now. What I'm kind of looking at that kind of has me a little bit concerned here is the fact that we're still seeing a handful of gold cars. These gold cars are you can only configure these in the Dream Edition configuration. So the fact that they still haven't delivered all of the Dream Editions yet, they have to be close. But as soon as we stop seeing these gold Dream Editions, then I'll be pretty happy, because then they're moving on to the Grand Touring and then the other models. So as soon as we can get these gold ones out of here, I'll be happy as can be. So Forbes did do an article this weekend on Lucid, and they ranked it out of 100. And I want to go ahead and go over their article and their rankings with you guys and exactly where they ranked this car. So performance, they gave it a 15 out of 15. I can attest to this. That car was extremely powerful. The more I think about it, it's faster than it looks. That's an odd statement, but when you think of a luxurious vehicle, you think a nice interior, smooth ride, but you don't necessarily think of the performance of a luxurious vehicle. And that is definitely what the Lucid Dream Edition is. Next, their fuel economy, range, and charging, they gave it a 15 out of 15. It has the longest EPA range of any vehicle, as well as it charges extremely quickly. The safety and driver assistance is a 13 out of 15, and I think that's just because they haven't necessarily enabled all of the features that it can have, and those are things that can be solved with over-the-air updates. Next, the comfort in room. I was surprised they gave us that 13 out of 15, because usually it's like the number one thing people say is like how nice the seats are, how big the back row is. The reason they didn't give it a 15 out of 15 is because the Mercedes EQS actually does have a larger back seat by 9 inches, which must be insane. I've never ridden inside a Mercedes EQS, but that's definitely a car I kind of want to try to get my hands on and see, just to compare it, because 9 inches in that back seat would be a ton of space. Next, you have the infotainment system. They gave that a 12 out of 15. I understand there's still a little bit of quirks that can be worked out with the Lucid software in terms of the infotainment, so there's some improvement there. And I think they're kind of comparing it to Tesla's infotainment, where it has Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Twitch, and all of those things. So they definitely have a room to improve on the infotainment system, which will make the car better. So that's something to look forward to. Next, they did give the cargo space and storage a 15 out of 15, which that car is absolutely massive. So I'm extremely happy they gave it that 15 out of 15. Style and design, 9 out of 10. I don't know why it's not it's fair. I mean, it's kind of an opinion, style and design, but nonetheless, 9 out of 10, pretty good. And the overall score that they gave the Lucid Dream Edition was a 92 out of 100. I was just trying to compare it to the Model S Plaid, and I was looking for a Forbes review on the Model S Plaid with this scoring system, and I couldn't find one. So it's really hard to this number is kind of arbitrary. There's not much to go against, but nonetheless, it's still got stellar reviews, and I personally have driven it. That's actually the next picture here. This is actually the Lucid that I drove. and the owner of this car posted a picture on Twitter showing how powerful the high beams are, and he posted like a 30-second video, and the video is actually really cool. Those high beams go so far. It's an extremely advanced LED system, which it's super cool to see how well it works at night. We haven't seen much footage of Lucid driving at night just because it's not the best for filming. But yeah, it is pretty cool that this was the car I was able to drive. I had a crazy last week, but I'm back in my house, in my office this week. So hopefully I can continue to bring you guys quality Lucid content on a daily basis. And if you guys want to see me driving this car, go ahead and click the video that'll pop up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you want to continue to see Lucid on a daily basis, consider subscribing. Like always, see you next time. Thanks for watching.